Hey survivors, it's Brian, your eager explorer of all games narrative, and this is going to be an informal video. I got this game, Legacy of Dragonholt, for Christmas from my super awesome mother-in-law, and I started to, as you can see, I started to rip the shrink wrap off, and then I thought, I might as well share this with everyone on the show because you might be curious about what's in the box, and I kind of like experiencing things with others, and so here we go. So Legacy of Dragonholt, I've already started tearing the shrink wrap off, but I have not looked in the box yet. So this is by Nikki Valens, who I believe recently left Fighting Fantasy, unfortunately. So I don't know if we'll see any more of these games in the what they call the Oracle system. But this game is set in the Runebound universe. I think it's in the world of Terranoth. So yeah, that'll be an interesting thing to explore. I've not played Runebound, so it's all new to me. But I've heard really good things about this game. Just on the face of it, it looks like it might be kind of similar to Sherlock Holmes, which is another game I might do a walkthrough of at some point. It's a cool narrative game. But let's dive right in. I'm not going to be showing any spoilers. At least I'm going to do my best. I don't know anything about the game really yet. This is not a review copy. Like I said, it was a gift. I have no affiliation with. I said Fighting Fantasy. I meant Fantasy Flight. But anyway, let's open that up. Okay. And so the first thing that we see here seems to be some tokens of some kind, as well as a proof of purchase. So I will punch those out at another time. Then we have some kind of card set here. It looks like they're labeled with letters. Yes. So I'm assuming that those need to stay in order. Very cool. All right. And then we've got the rule book, and it says, read this first. So we have an introduction, a game overview, tells us what the object of the game is. It is a cooperative game. The components, which are the rule book, character creation book, 6 quest books, and 1 village book containing all the stories and adventures you will experience while playing. Don't read from the quest books unless you've been instructed to do so. Okay? And then you also have a letter from Celise, I think is the name. And we'll go to Dragonholt, where we have a map of Dragonholt. And might find Sonia's journal, so I shouldn't examine that component until we get there. So those cards, these ones right here, are the item cards. They should be kept face down while playing, and occasionally I'll be told to get a specific card, okay? And these are the activation tokens to track which players have made decisions. And then we have some character sheets. It's cool. So it's going to walk us through the setup, and then it's a glossary with rules. Tells us how to play with multiple players. Okay. And here's some story points. I'm kind of curious what those are. So story points are abstract recordings of the decisions you make throughout your adventure. So these are like code words in Fabled Lands. They allow the story to play out differently depending on the decisions you've made. Story points are recorded on the story tracking sheet. So yeah, this is, open world, I think, sort of in nature. I think that a couple things that this might have similarities to. I've got on my bookshelf behind me, I've got Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective, and you can see just kind of looking at this that, it's a series of quest books or mysteries. right? And there's a map, and there's a So I think there's some obvious similarities with this. And then I also have a big stack of open world game books. We've got the Steam Highwayman series, which I'll be playing on the channel. We've got the Fabled Land series. Right, these guys, which are map driven, and you can just sort of walk around, and these have code words that track sort of what happens in the story. So I imagine that Legacy of Dragonholt does something very similar, but I've not played it before, so I don't know. So here's their character creation booklet, and it looks relatively involved. Choose a race: orcs, dwarves, humans, elves, gnomes. So very fantasy. Almost Dungeons and Dragons-y. It's runebound though. A class. Describe yourself. Now, one criticism of this game that I've heard, I don't know if this is true or not, is that a lot of this, people claim that a lot of this actually doesn't really matter or come up in the game very much. I'll be interested to see if that's actually the case. And then you can collect these runebound shards, it looks like. Okay. So that's an example of what a character sheet looks like, but we have included here, it looks like a set of 6 character sheets. Yep. Cool. All right. And then here are the books. So it looks like they're not particularly thick. I'm not going to look at them in detail because I don't want to spoil it for myself or for you. But they're not particularly thick. But we do, on the other hand, have this much thicker book here, which is the Dragonholt Village. And so it says about 30 to 50 minutes per chapter. I'm assuming each of these... so never mind. This has chapters, and then each of the adventures and that one is 50 to 80 minutes. Looks like 50 to 80 minutes for these adventures. So yeah, I think you can kind of... There's a lot more going on here in this Dragonholt Village book. So then we have the letter and the journal that we're not going to particularly look at right now because they told us not to. And then the map of Dragonholt. So I don't think I'm going to be able to get this whole thing to show. I wonder if it was purposeful that it has a very sort of Dungeons and Dragons-esque style to it. I have to imagine that it probably was, but okay, so then some of these areas relate to places on the map. So that's Dragonholt Village. Is there anything on the back? No, it's just sort of a parchment style. That's a shame. I feel like they could have fit some more world there on the back. And then we have these 5 more adventures. Some of them are longer, it looks like 75 to 120 minutes, 50 to 80, 50 to 80. So I'm guessing that last one, they're all 50 to 80 except the last one. So I'm guessing that last one is kind of like the finale or something like that. But anyway, that's what's in the box with Legacy of Dragonholt. I haven't played it yet, so I can't really give a gameplay overview. There's lots of videos that do that. But I might do that at some point. But yeah, I'm really excited to dig in with Legacy of Dragonholt at some point. There's so many sort of like spoiler free overviews and reviews out there. I may not, I may go full on spoilers potentially, like with an actual gameplay. We'll see. Let me know if you'd be interested in seeing me play through this, or if you'd prefer it be something left to your personal play. But that is Legacy of Dragonholt. Thanks for watching.